everyone. Before I begin, let me ask you a simple question. What comes to your mind when you hear the word batik? Maybe you imagine colorful patterns on a piece of clothes, or perhaps you have seen someone wearing batik at an international event. But today, I would like to show you that batik is much more than beautiful fabric. For Indonesians, batik represents history, identity, creativity, and tradition. Every pattern has a meaning, and every piece tells a story. As someone who lives in Pekalongan, a city widely known as the City of Batik, I feel very proud to introduce this cultural heritage to all of you. So, today, let's explore the beauty of Batik Pekalongan together. This is the Lambrang Batik, one of the most iconic motifs from Pekalongan. Its colorful geometric patterns were inspired by Indian and Middle Eastern cultures that came to Pekalongan through trade many years ago. And next, this is Enjim Batik. It is famous for its beautiful floral design and bright colors. These motifs reflect the influence of Chinese culture, which has become an important part of Pekalongan's history. And next, another famous motif is buketan batik. Inspired by European flower bouquet, it combines Western artistic influences with traditional Indonesian craftsmanship, creating a unique style that can only be found in Pekalongan. These are only a few examples of Pekalongan beautiful batik motif. Each pattern carries its own story and cultural meaning. Together, they represent the creativity and diversity that make batik Pekalongan so special. To understand batik, we first need to know where it comes from. Batik has been part of Indonesian culture for hundreds of years. It has been passed down from one generation to another, making it one of Indonesia's oldest artistic traditions. Although batik can be found in many regions across Indonesia, each region has its own unique style and characteristic. Indonesia has more than 17,000 islands, and almost every region has developed its own batik style. This diversity makes Indonesia batik one of the richest textile traditions in the world. This is the Batik Museum in Pekalongan. It preserves hundreds of batik collections and introduces the visitors to the history, techniques, and cultural significance of batik. Pekalongan is one of the most famous batik producing cities. Unlike batik from other regions, batik Pekalongan is known for its bright colors, floral patterns, and influences from different cultures, including Chinese, Arab, Dutch, and Japanese cultures. This cultural diversity makes batik Pekalongan unique and easily recognizable. Because of its cultural importance, UNESCO officially recognized Indonesian batik as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2009. This recognition reminds us that batik is not only Indonesia's pride but also part of the world cultural heritage. Okay, now let's talk about the values behind batik. When people look at batik, they often notice its beautiful colors and patterns. However, what many people don't realize is that every batik pattern has a meaning. Some patterns symbolize hope, others represent harmony, prosperity, patience, or respect. Making traditional batik also requires patience and dedication. The artists cannot rush the process. They carefully draw patterns using a traditional tool called a chanting, apply hot wax, color the fabric, and repeat several steps before the batik is finally finished. Sometimes, completing just one piece of handmade batik can take days or even weeks. This is why Batik teaches us important values such as patience, hard work, creativity, and appreciation for traditional craftsmanship. Today, batik is worn in many different situations. Students wear batik to school, government employees wear batik to work, families wear batik during celebrations, even world leaders have worn Indonesian batik during international meetings. For Indonesians, wearing batik is not only about fashion, it is also a way of showing respect for our culture. Okay, now I would like to talk about something interesting. Many foreigners think that all batik fabrics are handmade. Actually, that's not always true. Batik tulis is completely handmade. Every pattern is created by the artist, making each piece unique. Batik chop uses copper stamps to create repeating patterns. Although it is faster, it still requires skilled craftsmanship. Printed batik is made using modern printing technology. It is more affordable, but the production process is very different from traditional batik making. Today, there are printed batik products that look similar to traditional batik, although they are beautiful and more affordable. They are different from authentic handmade batik. Another common misunderstanding is that batik is only formal clothing. In reality, modern batik has become part of everyday fashion. People wear batik shirts, dresses, jackets, bags, shoes, and even sneakers with batik patterns. So, batik is not old-fashioned. It continues to grow while still preserving its traditional values. Every country has clothing that represents its identity. For example, Japan has the kimono. Both batik and kimono are traditional cultural symbols. People usually wear them during special occasions, ceremonies, or cultural celebrations. However, there is one interesting difference. A kimono has a fixed design and shape. Batik, on the other hand, is a fabric. It can be made into shirts, dresses, skirts, uniforms, or many other modern fashion styles. This flexibility allows batik to stay relevant in today's world while preserving its cultural meaning. Although they are different, but both batik and kimono remind us that traditional culture uh, can continue to live alongside modern life. Before I finish, I would like to share a personal reflection. Living in Pekalongan has made me realize that batik is not just something we wear, it is part of our identity. When I see people making batik by hand, I admire their passion and creativity. Their work reminds me that preserving culture is not only the responsibility of artists of the government. It is also the responsibility of young people like me. I believe that introducing batik to international audiences is one small way to help preserve this beautiful tradition, because culture will stay alive as long as people continue to learn, appreciate, and share it. So, today we have learned that batik is much more than just a piece of clothes. It carries history, it represents values, it reflects Indonesian identity, and most importantly, it connects the past with the future. I hope that one day, if you visit Indonesia, you will not only buy a piece of batik, but also understand the story behind it. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.